Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch Mexico's best.
So what does it all mean?
We would like
The
to thank the following
reports,
sponsors
the
for
hype
making
of a
this
practice that was good for a quarterback, or breaking it down if a couple periods did not go his way. You practice for a reason. There's fall camp for a reason. We weren't just talking about kids getting free. Yes, kids 12 and under getting free to 5 of the 6 home football games this season for Lobo football, but we watched practice yesterday. So what does it all mean? What things do you look at that are real? The takeaways for the young quarterbacks, the competitions in camp. We will try to break that down this morning. What it do, and welcome into the opening drive here on 95.9 FM AM 610, The Sports Animal. JJ Buck, joined by the quarterback, the Lobo alum, Ned James. Bobcat holding it down behind the scenes, Adrian on ProView Network. A stacked house this Tuesday morning for you, and it's wall-to-wall of what you need to know. First and foremost, football, practice, camp, preseason. What does it all mean? We'll get into that. A lot to break down across the board from the NFL and, of course, what's going on right here in Albuquerque with the Lobos. We'll have Fernando Lobo, UNM Athletic Director, on the show at 9 a.m. this morning to discuss what they're doing to incentivize families, get people to Lobo Athletics. We heard last week, free. Well, that was for, of course, women's soccer, which gets going on Thursday with an exhibition against UTEP. Baseball, softball, track and field. So the quote-unquote non-revenue sports, they're opening up to everyone. Come in, check it out. And now with football, kids 12 and under get free tickets to 5 of the 6 home games. Still got to pay for the rivalry game. Got to make some money there against New Mexico State. We'll talk with Fernando Lobo about the initiatives that they are really doing, to push you to get through the gates. Yes, and head coach Jason Eck talked about it yesterday. At some point in time, they know their football team has to hold up their end of the bargain, and you have to be able to have a football team that draws people in. But also, a first step is just getting people interested in your product. So interested to hear your reaction too throughout the morning when you saw that, especially if you have a family and the cost. Well, you have to plan when you go out. It's parking, it's tickets, it's concessions, everything along those lines. But they're trying to help out just a little bit, generate some buzz. Get your thoughts on that throughout the morning, and have Fernando Lobo joining us to discuss that and more, especially when it comes to some of the updates to University Stadium and the future things that they're trying to do with all sports when it comes to tickets and generating interest, and then the investments in athletic, because it's been discussed. Fernando Lobo said it out loud. We've talked about it. It feels like there could be just one more big shift in college athletics when there's the next negotiation with the television contract. So we shall see. But what they're doing out there, Ned, is they're practicing. And yesterday, football. But football is here. So what things do you look for? You've been in camp as a player. You've been in camp as a coach. And I'm sure, there's different levels of players that it's, when you're a veteran player, you can get by doing different things. But what is the focus of really the first week or two of any camp?
Well, you just want to see guys flying around, excited about playing football, excited that the season's about to start. You really want to find out, who your guys are that are going to be leaders. You're trying to gauge the, who's going to step up when things get tough. Because now that they're practicing, they all got fresh legs. It's going to start getting hard. I think it's that 3rd or 4th day. I don't know the science. Maybe some doctor or something can call in and tell us the science of, when the muscles start breaking down and you have to, kind of readjust your practices and let them build themselves back up again. But I'm watching to see who the leaders are, who the more physical guys are. You can't really tell until they put the full pads on. I almost don't really like to watch practice till they're in full pads. But nowadays, teams practice in shells and with your shoulder pads and helmet, and they'll wear shorts. But a lot of them put their pads in their shorts too, so they can kind of run around and just get a feel for how they're going to feel when they're in the game. And I thought it was great Saturday when I went out there. I kind of watched them, just kind of, see the routine of how they go from drill to drill. I'm really kind of always interested. I always start with the offensive line. So I always work with the line, the offensive and defensive line, just to kind of watch their individual and how they kind of, step and they start and how they pass rush and how they, pass protect and how they, scoop and all these different things, and just kind of watch their movement and the size of the guys. And those are the things I kind of look for early on. And then, I kind of gauge, just the coaching and just kind of see, which coaches are, kind of standing out as far as, giving instruction. And then you go from there. That's it's really, pretty basic, if you're a former player and coach and, now just broadcasting, just observing. I kind of look for the basics to begin with, because that's how you win. Fundamentally, the game always comes back to blocking and tackling. And I'm going to see exactly where we are, once they start scrimmaging, once they start, the legs start getting a little sore and guys have to, really rely on their talent to execute and to be good.
Big thing right now, early training camp, especially in the NFL, it's the stories of the competitions. And what's fascinating to me about the teams that have the biggest competitions, they don't really have a true vision of what is next. We know with the teams that just drafted a high quarterback, that's where they're going. Like last year, when you were going into camp, all right, it was Caleb Williams, Drake May, even though Drake May didn't start for a little bit. We saw Michael Penix sit last year, too, for most of the season, only played the final 3 games for the Falcons. But there's direction with young quarterback. This year, I think what a fascinating camp to me, just based on decision-making, is the Cleveland Browns. They go out there and sign Tyler Huntley, so he's QB5, because they know they don't really want to play Joe Flacco in the preseason at all. Kenny Pickett is hurt, and then you have Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and they add another veteran to that, really get by when it comes to playing the preseason games. But I think this is a fascinating case study because you don't have high capital invested in either of the rookie quarterbacks. You have immense hype with the 5th-round draft pick in Shedeur Sanders, what's surrounding him, but also a team that has 2 first-round picks next year and then being in that moment. Right now, those coaches, those players want to do everything they can to compete right now. They don't care about Arch Manning just yet, those guys. And that's why I just find a fascinating dynamic, because you've been in those camps. You know what this time of year is like. Players are fighting for their contract and for their job. Coaches are fighting to stick around. Now, it's always easy to, from the outside, and say, yeah, don't care about the season. Lose all those games, get the first overall pick, and draft that next quarterback. But what decision do the Browns make? I think it's a fascinating decision for a franchise, because do you just try to compete as best you can? Then that would be Joe Flacco. That would be starting Joe Flacco and go see if you win games. Or do you see if you actually did get a lottery ticket and either let Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders go for a few game stretch?
Yeah, I've always said this. The quarterbacks get way too much credit when you win, way too much blame when you lose. And, they got 6 quarterbacks now. They got Tyler Huntley in there. And so, it just goes to show you that the quarterback position, although important, really kind of pales in comparison to all the other positions, because they're picking up players every day from different positions, but none of them get the attention of the quarterback. I mean, when teams pick up quarterbacks, and they're picking him up because Pickett's got the pulled hamstring, or he's got a bad hamstring, or what have you, and you got to have a quarterback under center when you start playing, and they're probably going to throw him in, for the preseason just to kind of, fresh meat for the defense, just to kind of, beat up on. They'll give him a couple dollars to come out there to preserve the other guys for the regular season. But it's really interesting to me, just talking to quarterback guys around the country I talk to, and the way the quarterback position has turned, with the athlete being at quarterback. Now you're paying, arguably at what I've always said, the worst athlete next to the kicker and punter, the most money, and yet he's not as great an athlete. But now they're starting to trend towards more athletic guys, but the stiffs are still, the non-athlete guys are still around, like the Joe Flacco's, the Jared Goffs, but the athletic guys, the Lamar Jackson. I got into this with Robert Portnoy. We couldn't finish it because I've always, like I've always told you, I thought Elway was the greatest quarterback that's ever played, because he could do both. Yeah. And he was a big guy. He could stand in the pocket, and, he had a little bit of athleticism. this trend towards these athletic guys, I'm really watching because people haven't been able to knock me off the stump of being in the NFL with the fact that these stiff quarterbacks, the Troy Aikmans, the guys that don't move in the pocket, that are still around. They're like the dinosaur. They just, they're old, but yet they're not extinct yet. They're just kind of still hanging around. And it's just fascinating to see, to bring in a Huntley guy who's an RPO guy, these RPO run type quarterbacks, and the risk and the reward at that position, because if that guy gets hurt and he's making all that money, Dak Prescott gets hurt making all that money, even though he's a run around guy. There's consequences to that. So it's just always been fascinating. And I just think the idea that, they're going to go with Flacco. I mean, you can't stand Flacco, JJ. And then you bring it up the fact that he's going to be the starter. This guy.
I've come to appreciate Joe Flacco. I went from can't standing him to watching this man come off the couch, 39 years old, sling it, get to the playoffs. And
why couldn't he do that for Denver?
Well, there was a lot going on over the few year stretch for Sean Payton that got there that things did not work for the Denver Broncos. But I've come to respect Joe Flacco. And this is a fun conversation for me because working with you, I have changed my mindset. So because you've been in those NFL locker rooms, and especially in the NFL, when so many people scream tank, tanking doesn't get you anywhere. Because a number one overall draft pick doesn't guarantee you anything. You can get a quarterback at 5. You can get a quarterback at 8. Get a quarterback at 15. That's just as good. It's about investing in a quarterback and a high pick, but it doesn't have to be the number one overall pick. So even going into a season, before we played any games, there's already teams you target and say, oh, they're going to be awful. They're not going to be any good. And so fan bases just start screaming about tank, tank, tank. That doesn't get you anywhere. You still have to try to compete. Because if you get into a situation where you're constantly bad as a franchise and you just say, oh, a quarterback's going to save us, quarterback's not going to save you.
Right.
Because it permeates through the rest of the franchise, and that's a lot of work to come out of.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's trying to create an environment and a culture, and that's another thing I looked at. Just being around the UNM football team, and I've been away, this summer quite a bit. But
glad to have you back.
Thank you for having me. I try to get around them, and the custodian, the secretaries, people in the training room, equipment managers. All those people to me are important. They're all a part of the culture of the football franchise organization, which is the front porch of the athletic department to the rest of the world. And so I just like to see how things are shaping from all those different angles. And it gives me a better picture of where I think that the team can go, and just philosophically, it's not going to always be, what my philosophy is on how a team should be. It may be different, but sometimes, those different things work. And so, I like to kind of see how that all shapes up. And we're getting ready to see that now with this UNM team.
Football is here. Football is football. 505-246-0610 Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. And we'll discuss Lobo Athletics with Athletic Director Fernando Lobo coming up at 9 o'clock. Their initiative to get kids into Lobo football this season and just broaden the fan base for Lobo Athletics, try to get them young and get people interested. Of course, as Coach Eck talked about yesterday, he knows that his football team will have to hold up their end of the bargain, but it's got to start somewhere. And the Lobos trying to give the kids something to look forward to this season. You can check us out on ProView Networks. Adrian holding it down, streaming on whatever platform you would like this morning. Watch the show each and every single day, and go back and watch it as well. And, of course, check out the podcast of the show up wherever you get your podcast. The opening drive is available for you. But speaking of those quarterbacks, now, you do have to have a plan. What does the future hold? We talked about Joe Flacco, but there is another quarterback that is just rest, or is just a team that really is going to have to invest in the future with a guy that can keep slinging it. But is it year to year now with one team in LA? We'll hit that next. Opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
It's Part Sports.
We have football on the brain.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like
or old quarterback, you can do that. But you have to have a plan. And there's a lot of buzz that next year this squad will look into investing in the future. It's the opening drive here at 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal. It's JJ Buck, the quarterback, Ned James, Bobcat holding it down, Adrian on ProView Networks, 505-246-0610. Sports Animal hotline and text line for you this morning. So what is the plan? Well, head coach Sean McVay was asked about Matthew Stafford over the weekend, and he said it would be week to week. Now, he was asked about, hey, is Stafford going to be doing anything, well, this week? Because the new week started on Monday. And Sean McVay said, quote, no, he'll be doing a workout on his own during that time period. He's able to do a little bit more, which is good, and things are progressing well, but he won't take part in the jog through because he'll be doing some other stuff. And we know that we've seen it. Sean McVay, the Rams, their dudes don't play in preseason, but we're talking about practice. Practice right now. And what does it mean for certain players? And it feels like, Matthew Stafford's one of those guys that he can just pick up the football and get going. But any injury, you have to look at it and say, all right, is this something, nothing, or a little bit? And it feels like it might just be a little bit with Matthew Stafford. It also could just be an old guy that they have on a really heavy pitch count. But what I think is interesting about this is has been a lot of buzz, and not just with Matthew Stafford not participating right now in camp, that the Rams would then start to really look forward to the future next year. And we've seen it, Stafford kind of year to year with his contract negotiations. But this would make sense because Matthew Stafford's still the dude right now. Stafford with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Sean McVay is going to have this team competing to win that division. But then this is the question you ask. We got your guy locked in, but what does the future hold? And there's a lot of buzz that whether it's mid-round, late-round pick if they're a good football team, next year Sean McVay is finally going to see if he can bring in one of his guys to develop.
Yeah, this next year, yeah. Well, Matthew Stafford jumped up to the top of my list of my favorite quarterbacks now because he's Methuselah. He's one of the oldest guys out there, and pretty soon we're going to have a guy 65 years old play a quarterback in the NFL, collecting Medicare and Social Security and all those things because, these old guys, we talked about it earlier with the athlete, the non-athlete. Here's the guy with the back. But the reason why I like him, I'm kind of a pro-labor guy. I don't want to get into politics or anything, but I like the fact that, they got a union. And so one of the things Stafford did that I really, really think is great is that he said, oh, you think I'm old? Okay. Then if you don't want me, then okay, I'll go to another team. And what did the Rams do? They panicked and they paid him a ton of money. And that's what the union comes down to. He's not like Tom the Cheater Brady taking pay cuts. He didn't do any of that. He's like, oh, you want me to take a pay? Oh, no. I'm a veteran, seasoned.
I'm the quarterback.
I'm a stiff that stays. I'm non-athletic, but I want the most money that you can get. I mean, for a guy that's played as long as he's played, for him to get the kind of contract that he got, and the Rams to kind of try to play poker with him and essentially tell him, hey, go out and see if there's other suitors. And then when there were other suitors, the Rams, relinquished and gave back.
Gave us more guaranteed money.
A lot more guaranteed money. And so, I mean, he did what I think, guys that are part of a union should do. He did what was best for the players, and that's give players leverage. And so he's my new favorite player. Now, the back situation and stuff, the fact that they're, thinking about getting another guy next year and drafting and yada, 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 yada. Yeah. That hold off on that, folks, until we get to next year, because by next year, and I'm hoping Stafford asks for another pay cut and say, oh, you guys don't want me. I'm 62 years old now. Okay, so let me go out on the free agent market and see what they'll offer me. And that's what, that's what you're supposed to do when you're a part of a union. And I think he did a great job from that standpoint. even though he let a lady fall off the stage and wouldn't help her and ran away. And I didn't like him after that. But I do like the fact that he negotiates well.
Stafford is really an interesting case right now because he was phenomenal against the Eagles. On the road, that environment, driving
playoffs.
almost had them.
Yeah.
Now, almost doesn't matter now. But we're watching a guy that was just kind of average through the regular season. 20 touchdowns and interceptions. He didn't turn the football over, but you didn't see some of that explosiveness. He's still 13th in the league in passing. And what we're seeing, though, is he's the trend of these older guys. Staying healthy or being able to play. Aaron Rodgers, one more season at 40 years old for the Steelers. Matthew Stafford at 37. Like, these teams are still trusting those guys in this era that everyone's looking for the flashy toy that moves.
But arguably, this is the greatest trade ever made. I mean, you got two stiffs, one stiff being traded for another stiff. So you got Jared Goff to go, who wins the trade? I mean, if you're out there and you're listening, you're saying, hey, Stafford won a Super Bowl, Jared Goff is whatever. I mean, Jared Goff's a lot younger. Stafford is he's collected Social Security. He's old man now. Which guy is the better guy?
37. It's not that old.
Okay.
Careful.
Okay. But anyway, he's old for NFL standards as a quarterback. And like I said, it's the worst athlete getting paid the most money on an NFL team is these quarterbacks next to the kicker and the punter. The quarterbacks are the worst. And so, I mean, to me, the winner of the trade is who?
I think it leans towards the Super Bowl champ, but in terms of
Goff went to a Super Bowl.
Well, with the Rams, and he has the Lions competitive. He has the Lions as a favorite. He did something no one expected. He was the throw-in piece. Oh, he's going to be the placeholder until the Lions draft their next quarterback. And
so now it becomes the coaching. Dan Campbell's a worse coach than Sean McVay. So, I mean, that's where it comes down to.
I think what you said is this is one of the rare trades where, I'll give it the edge to just Stafford and the Rams for the Super Bowl championship. But the Lions are like, we got the draft picks and a starting quarterback. It's worked out well for both franchises.
Yeah. I mean, they won a Super Bowl. I give Goff credit because he went to a Super Bowl. Now, it's McVay's fault they didn't win it. So we could go that route. But in a lot of ways, because they only scored,
13-10 game or something?
13-10, yeah. So, but at the same time, I wonder, just with Stafford, to me, I'm for the working man. And so for the working man, I like Stafford because the Rams really put him out there last year. And he's an old guy. Older guy, I should say. I'm not going to say an old guy because you get offended here. But he's an older veteran player that they thought, okay, nobody's going to want to pay him $1 trillion or whatever how much they're paying him. But everybody, there were so many suitors, the Rams couldn't believe it. They had to really jack up their offer to keep him. And so that from that standpoint, these quarterbacks, it's just amazing to me. In the trend, and that's why I'm watching this trend with these athletic quarterbacks. Which way is it going to go? Are we going to still be? And that's what makes this such a beautiful game, because guys on the couch believe they can play. When you look at Flacco and you look at Jared Goff, the average guy on the couch is like, man, I can play football in the NFL if those two stiffs can play. So it's just that whole thing with the working man. As you get older, people want to push you out the door, and you can still do it. And so I think that's what makes NFL and football the most popular sport in this country, because the average guy thinks that he can do what those NFL guys can do because of these quarterbacks making $1 trillion, and they're stiffs. They they can't practice. I mean, who's ever heard of a guy hey, my back hurts? That's like somebody who's geriatric. You can't if my back hurts, I can't practice. That's like getting up in the morning. But Stafford's got this back issue, and
Matthew Stafford and Michael Parsons right now dealing with back issues for different reasons while they don't have practice for their franchises. We'll have this discussion, the value of camp, but the veteran quarterbacks and what they mean to these franchises, as everyone wants to flashy new toy. That flashy new toy can be a lot of fun. Look at that last year's quarterback class. It could be shaping up to be something special, but competing, giving yourself a chance. There's still plenty of guys on the back end that are doing just that. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you. This morning we come back on the other side. You don't have to sell the man across from me on Lobo Football, but you do have to sell it to everyone else. What are you thinking about what UNM is doing, and how's the football team looking in practice? We'll hit that next here on the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch Mexico's best. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard.
Blinn, you got to keep them there, but it starts somewhere. Football starts August 30th, the regular season opener for the Lobos at Michigan. 5:30 kickoff time, 4:30 pregame show. So Robert Portnoy and Dontrell Moore fire things up from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and your boy Ned James will be holding it down in studio. Bobcat probably producing. Yes, he is. And guess what? You got yourself a preview of the studio show right here this morning on the opening drive with Ned James and Bobcat holding it down. This is a crew that puts in the hard work, the crew that gets you through football season, and it's going to be a heck of a ride this year.
Yeah, Bob. I can't wait to those 3 a.m. post-game shows this coming season.
Well, we might have okay, there's going to be a couple late ones. When they go to California, they have the UCLA game, which is 8 o'clock kickoff, the San Jose State game, which is an 8 o'clock kickoff. But you hope that there's something that can keep you around. We do our best.
Yes, we do.
To entertain and inform. But yes, it comes down to the football product. And you look at this Lobo football team right now, they're doing what you have to do. It's echoes out in the community a ton over the summer. The hype videos, the ticket initiative right now with kids 12 and under getting in free. But then it comes down to the product on the field. Put eyes on them a little bit over the last few days in practice. Yesterday was kind of advantage offense, especially at the end of practice, doing some red zone drills, and Lane and Cole Welliver throwing some nice dimes over the top against the secondary. But then Jason Eck, after practice, talked about it. He's like, that's what you want to see. He's like, Saturday it might have been the defensive day, and the offense responded. So there's going to be a back and forth flow with this team, and we've been discussing, this morning a theme is it's practice season, it's camp season. So what do you take from it? And you're going to take a whole lot from Lobo camp right now. As you talked about, Ned, it's structure, it's style, it's all these coaches implementing their schemes with so many new players coming in. And I think what is interesting is the production aspect of it, because was talked about in the offseason. You're seeing it now with kind of who are the early guys getting the most reps, right? And it is Jack Lane, of course, the Idaho transfer. Scott Trey Humphrey, Montana State transfer. So guys that produced at the FCS level, sliding in, getting their opportunity now. And can you prove that you're a D1 athlete?
Yeah. And it's, with the way the game is going nowadays, guys, you're going to have to play and produce early. Yeah. It's unfortunate the way that, guys are getting bought off of rosters in college football, but that's the trend. And the trend also, and you really got to look at it now, is those young people who are in school, primarily to be in school, that unfortunately for whatever reason believe that they're not going to be able to start on a team. They go in the portal and they realize that there's not a whole lot of scholarships out there. So, you've got to really kind of weigh who you're bringing in and why you're bringing them in and where you're recruiting them from. But players are going to have to play. Guys, we talked about it last night. One of our, top freshman players was all conference in the Big 12 last year, safety, A.J. Halsey, who was a really good young player here. So you got to get the most out of these guys while you have them. And so, coaches are evaluating. It's almost like, professional football. You have to get the best out of the guys that you have on your roster right now. There's a lot of new guys on this roster, a lot of guys who feel like maybe they, deserve to be, the star player at some other place, or, believe they could be a star here. And so that's why they're here. And so we're going to have to see if they wind up in some sort of backup role, if they're going to be supportive of, who's ever's in front of them, and be supportive of the team. And that's, part of the job of the coaching staff and the head coach. But I believe that you can do that. It's tough when you have all these new guys coming together at once. I know coaches working hard on doing a lot of activities where they all get to kind of, bond with each other. And so, that's part of building a team. And so we'll see what happens here in the next, couple weeks. They'll start forming into, who's going to be the guy and, which guys are going to play. And then, you got the test, up in Ann Arbor, and coaches expect to, play well and win the game. So, I mean, you're going to have the players that have that kind of confidence. And so, I mean, that's why you play Division I football, is because you believe you can win them all. And I like that idea. You know how I am, JJ. I'm always going to pick the Lobos to win. So, we'll see.
Yeah, and this schedule, I had a former Lobo wide receiver. We were talking about this actually last week. It came up on how challenging the road schedule is this season. And he said, hey, look up the 2010 Lobo schedule when the Lobos opened up with Oregon. They had a number 14 ranked Utah team on the schedule, number 4 ranked TCU on the schedule, and BYU. So that one might be tougher overall. Yeah. And I was like, but I do. That might have been, was that the 72-0 in the third quarter game?
Utah
with Oregon at that point in time.
University of Utah football is the most fascinating thing to me because, we blew them out when we played them. When I was here, when they were in the old WAC conference, when I played 100 years ago. But the fact that they're, even mentioned as a great team is just shocking to me. And it's like, they bought our quarterback. They paid $1.5 million for our quarterback from last season. So they must be doing something right. So, I don't know what that church is doing up there, boy, but they're printing money. They can buy, our quarterback. But
Power Conference football.
Power Conference. I guess Utah. Yeah. They really, I don't know what people saw in them, but I don't know. I guess I just got to take off those
timing
goggles.
Well, it's investment.
Yeah.
Overall athletic department, university, city, success. And you go, all right, when they were moving and shaking, Utah, they had Urban Meyer. They had Alex Smith. They want to beat Nick Saban in Alabama at that point in time? In Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
And so you had all these factors, and then they were able to make their moves and join a power conference, and that's an influx of money. And that's where you get the haves and have-nots. And so, it might be crazy that when you were playing, you were blowing the doors off Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Utah, TCU, these were once conference foes of New Mexico. But they've been able to take a step forward, and where does that start? Well, it starts with that football program. Right. And that's what the Lobos are trying to get right, to just be on the right side of whatever happens next. I think the power conference dream, well, that's out the window, right? Especially with Memphis and that story that came out that they offered the Big 12, hey, we'll pay you $200 million to get into your conference. And the Big 12 is still like, nah, we're good. So what does that mean? Just do the best you got. And right now with Lobo football, it's, can you find any consistency? Can you get back to a bowl game? And it, starts with everything that you're discussing is, all right, is Eck going to have enough time to these players in this era have enough time to develop anything?
And you really don't. So you got to really go out and get the best players you can. I mean, I think, you've heard me say this a bunch of times, JJ. You just need a head coach, an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, and special teams coordinator. The rest of the building needs to go find players.
Dude, that's not a bad idea.
Get players, because you can't
players
play
and money
without play. Yeah, money and players. Now, there's other people that are out there that can do the money thing, but you got to go get the horses. You got to go find them.
You want to be a cornerbacks coach? Fantastic. Bring me 2 cornerbacks.
Yeah. And you don't have to bring me a cornerback. You can bring me an offensive lineman, a running back, but you got to go get me some guys. And it's really in this day and age, and the reason why people are laughing and being sarcastic about it, but you can buy them. People are suing. There's universities all over this country suing each other back and forth because of poaching, because players are getting poached off of other rosters. Go poach. You got to go. I mean, I don't want this side eye, hey, we're recruiting student athletes, yada, yada, yada. Okay, yeah, we are. But we got to go poach. I don't care. That backup quarterback at Alabama or that backup receiver at Texas or the backup, running back at USC or whatever, it's probably going to be pretty good. So, just have more cash than they do. And it's the cash business now. We can say what we want about, these rules and legalities, but it is what it is. And in this arena, you're going to have to pay to play. So let's get out there and let's get after it.
505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. It's the investment into Lobo football and athletics. We'll talk about that with Fernando Lobo, athletic director at the University of New Mexico. He'll join us at 9 a.m. this morning, of course, announced yesterday. Kids 12 and under get in free to Lobo football games.
Great idea.
Still got to pay for the New Mexico State game, right? That's premium game, but there's 5 home games where kids 12 and under get in free, plus the other initiatives they're working on and trying to invest in University Stadium. So we'll talk with Lobo coming up at 9 o'clock. It's opening drive right here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Lowe.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting green.
The Louisville football schedule this year on the road, it's tough. It's at Michigan, at UCLA. Your conference games on the road are against contenders to play in a conference championship. A lot of people like San Jose, UNLV, and of course Boise State. Those are your road games, and your other road trip is up to Colorado Springs to play Air Force. And so you look at it and say, all right, what can you do in your first two home games? Idaho State and New Mexico State are huge. Yes, you want to compete. Ned's not going to pick against the Lobos.
Nope.
But at Ann Arbor, at UCLA, you got to get those games at home. And we'll see how this team responds early in the season. The Michigan one is interesting to me because, all right, you know the depth and talent's going to be there. They're going to be big on the offensive and defensive line. The quarterback question for Michigan is interesting because they got the number one overall recruit. They're able to flip, a.k.a. pay more money to Bryce Underwood,
right,
to keep him from going to LSU. So he stays in Michigan, goes in there. But then it's also a former Mountain West quarterback, Mikey Keene.
Oh, really?
That is competing for the starting job with Bryce Underwood right now for the Wolverines.
That's interesting with Mikey Keene because he's little.
Yeah.
Our guy was last year. He's going to be playing with, the big boys. And he's a veteran, so he kind of knows, what he's doing out there. It'll be interesting to see if they jump in there and try to play that freshman. Well, they're paying that freshman. Freshman probably doesn't care because he's making whatever $5 billion or whatever they said his contract was up at Michigan. And so we'll see, if they decide they want to play him a little bit. But Mikey Keene he was a decent little player. He got hurt when we played him. Did he get hurt one year? Or I recall him being hurt and having to come back in. They tried to use him. So we'll see how that goes with him up there in Michigan. But I like, it's the opening game of the year, and so you just want to see us kind of go up there and really kind of show that we can kind of play well and be efficient. And Jason X got some experience. I mean, he's played some of those games, those money games at Idaho, so he knows.
I saw it last year against Oregon.
Yeah,
but they went in there. I think it was like a 10-point game.
Yeah, so he
with Idaho.
And I'm telling you what, now he don't flinch now. I mean, I talked to him a little bit and just got to know him. I just really like him. I mean, we know a lot of the same people. His kids were born in Winona, Minnesota, where I was at, and so I've known a lot of that stuff with him. And he's I just like he's got that Midwestern and he's a Cosgrove guy, man. Cosgrove and those guys at Wisconsin. They've always had successful, coordinators and coaches come out of there. Childress is out of there. Bill Callahan, all those guys were there when I was coaching at Minnesota, so I kind of knew him. And so he's kind of come out of that program up there. So I'm just curious to see how, they play that first game. You just never know. I mean, there's first impressions. People have their opinions, but guys like me who've been in this business a long time and kind of know and see, I've been wrong. So you gotta expect that you guys who are just fans or whatever, laymen, that maybe they're a little critical with their eye, they could be wrong. You just have to wait and see. You have to kind of give it some time, and let the coach's culture and system do its job, and I think that's going to be important. Coach to me is young. I think you got to give these young coaches a chance. You got to give them time. They're building their programs. They can relate to the young men a lot better than us old heads can, and so you just got to give them time. Let them, get out there and show you exactly, how they're going to choose to compete with these big schools, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised once we get to the bottom.
That is the former Lobo quarterback Ned James and his optimism for Lobo football. It's camp season. We're talking practice, the battles that matter, and what it means for different teams and different players with the expectations heading into the season. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. So there's training camp and there's players holding out of training camp. So what does a trade request mean? Is that going to move the needle for a stubborn front office, for a stubborn owner? And is anyone going to follow through with their trade request? We'll hit that next. It's Opening Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal.
95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
FM and AM 610 KNML, the sports animal. Now it's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, it's camp season. We're locked in. Some people do need that last vacation, but we got you covered. Right here on the opening drive, got the quarterback, the alumni from the University of New Mexico, Ned James. We got Bobcat holding it down. I am JJ Buck and Adrian, producing it on ProView Networks. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a very busy week. Kids going back to school soon. Whew, that time of year. Football practice, soccer practice.
Yeah.
By the way, looking forward to that.
Saw Heather the other day. She was excited. I like that.
Coach Deckard. And if you missed it or you didn't know about it, I recorded a Lobo Pod with Heather Dyke. It's up on all the UNM platforms. Fun extended conversation with Coach Dyke ahead of the season and her journey and her accolades as they try to get back to work. They've been frustrated the last few seasons. They're excited with some of the returners that they have. They have an exhibition game on Thursday night against UTEP. Regular season for women's soccer starts the 14th against Texas Southern. And women's soccer is one of those things that it's free this season. So get out there, support Olympic sports, and, of course, invest in athletics if you're so inclined to do as a Lobo fan. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. So what does a trade request mean? It's a negotiation tactic, but with the amount of money NFL players are making these days, dudes not really holding out for that long. They don't like getting those fines, and even if you don't have a multi-year guaranteed deal, when you're staring at $25 million and when you're staring at $15 million, it's hard to eventually say no to that. But we've seen this game play out over the summer. First, it started with Myles Garrett. He's like, I'm done with the Cleveland Browns. Don't want to play for this franchise anymore. And then they slide over that piece of paper. And he's like, oh, that you want to guarantee me this much money? Absolutely. I love Cleveland. Where's that brown helmet we're wearing this season? Let's go. You saw it with Trey Hendrickson. He's not happy with his contract. The Bengals, well, they're paying all these wide receivers. I'm important. I led the team in sacks the last years. Pay me. I'm not going to show up. Well, eventually he's shown up to camp. He hasn't got the deal done. Then you had Terry McLaurin, Commanders wide receiver. You know what? I want to trade, but you show up to camp. Micah Parsons, not happy with Jerry Jones, thinking to play this game and negotiate without his agent. They thought they had an agreement in March, but maybe the agent was really playing the long game with Micah Parsons. Micah says, I want out of here, but he's at camp walking around. So what does a trade request actually mean if you're not going to stay away from the team?
I remember laughing. At T.J. Trout because he's a big Cleveland Browns fan. He was panicked about Myles Garrett asking to be traded and leave. It's just the money. They just want more money. That's all. I mean, they're in this leverage position. They're in a union. They realize that the union has their back, and so they can. There's certain tactics you can use. And I think in the case of Dallas, and I'll say this again. Everybody's going to kind of rub their head. The phones may start blowing up because I'm going to say this. I keep saying this, and people laugh at me when I say this, but I do think Jerry Jones is the greatest owner in the NFL. I didn't like his stance on social justice stuff, but I think what he's doing as a businessman in the NFL and the fact that he's a former player.
Is he a good owner or is he a good businessman?
It's a businessman, so you got to realize that, hey, a part of it is, this whole idea that the media should just absolutely love the guy because the guy's face is
content, man. It's content.
He's content all the time. And so how could you not say he's the best owner with all the content that he gives you?
Cowboy fans just want to win, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'll come. But,
Really?
it's just, it'll come. It's just a matter of time. Just keep buying
keep telling
tickets.
yourself that?
Yeah, just keep buying tickets. Yeah. So, no, but I do think, the strategy of, the holdout, the hold in, the trade requests, all that stuff is a part of the business of pro football. And, these guys that come to camp and they want raises, there's been wilder things that happen. There's been guys who had just signed a contract and then a month later want a new contract. So there's wild things that happen in the business. Jerry, there's nobody that handles it better than Jerry. I think just standing in front of that mic, some of his sayings and some of the things that he uses to kind of appease the fan base and appease himself as the guy who's in front. And you got to give him credit. The guy's won 3 Super Bowls. You can laugh at him all you want. I know a lot of owners that would trade places with him that haven't won any Super Bowls, has won as many Super Bowls as he has. And then on top of it, he says, let me let you know how important I really am. I'm going to fire a 2-time winning Super Bowl coach, and I'm going to win a Super Bowl with another guy. He did that. So you got to give the guy a little bit of credit. I mean, I know a lot of people make fun of him. He's easy.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while, but okay.
Hey, this is one thing. To overanalyze championships, I understand we get caught up in that too much. But I think where we're looking at a team like Dallas is any postseason success, any run.
They've been
one,
postseason.
2 games. And so I think that's where a lot of the fans' frustration stems from. Jerry Jones doing all the talking. And then, to me, these would be the no-brainer deals. Why did it drag on with Dak Prescott? Why did it drag on with CeeDee Lamb? What's going on with Michael Parsons? Well, it comes back to what you're saying. He loves to play that game. There's no way around it anymore. Like when you see, like, Michael Parsons is a no-brainer. All right, you can keep telling me he's not Myles Garrett or TJ Watt. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's right there in terms of impact, the versatility, the difference maker for your franchise. But that's not fun. You just sign the guy to a big-time contract and move on. What's fun is to spend 16 minutes talking about him on a Saturday in front of the microphones at training camp, to be taking shots at everyone, to be showing that you're the smartest guy in the room. That's why you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. That's what's fun for Jerry Jones.
Well, with Jerry Jones, and I always go back to his one saying that I'll never forget, that he said that, he was trading gas and oil futures, and he made like $10 million in a day. He says no one cares. He goes, a free agent linebacker from Slippery Rock, is signed for us for probably a week. He's going to be here, and everybody wants to know about him. And he just was amazed by that. And so that's why he got into his whole radio thing, and so he can kind of explain why they do what they do. And I give the guy a lot of credit because he stands in front of the mic. He put on a helmet, put his hand in the dirt, played football before. I give him a lot of respect for all those things, and being able to say, hey, look, it ends with me. It's like you, JJ, when you pay, you work as hard as you do, you don't want someone else spending your money. He says, hey, it's my money. I've worked hard for this money. I'm gonna say how I spend it. And so you got to give the guy credit for that. I really think that he gives us a lot because he stands in front of the microphone.
It's content for days, and he said he's not trading Michael Parsons, and that's where I was getting to with this.
Trade him. He may trade him.
Trades. Is it like the Khalil Mack situation where that was kind of like, oh, okay. Now is in terms of compensation, pass rusher in his prime that was traded when Chicago traded Khalil Mack to the Raiders.
Parsons comes down on his demand.
Season.
It's all those things. I mean, it's it's a lot.
That's what I'm saying with these trade requests. Like, what does it mean if these dudes are going to show up to camp? Like, what leverage does the player have now? Because you're not going to budge Jerry Jones.
Well, they collectively bargained a deal where they have to show up to camp, because if you don't, it's $50,000 a day. So, unless you want to, drive down the interstate and throw $100 bills out the window, you need to show up to camp. So that's what they're doing. These guys are showing up. I mean, they may sat out one day, like Hendrickson sat out one day. He realizes, hey, I got to pay this, and there's no, unless they give you more money, there's no way around paying that fine. So, I think Jerry knows that. Hey, look, I'm selling tickets with Micah Parsons not practicing. He's just standing out here. So that's neither here nor there. And like he said, he even walked to the thing I liked about Jerry. He talked about, I mean, Emmitt Smith went 2 days. We went 2 games into the season before we signed Emmitt Smith. So he's saying, hey, is this guy a Hall of Famer? So he sets it up nice. I like how Jerry sets it up. Hey, are you guys really saying this guy's compared to Emmitt, where we won Super Bowl? He even takes you back 30 years just so you know that, hey, they're great and they're the Dallas Cowboys. So it's all a part of the strategy in business, and Jerry's done business in all kinds of ways. And so he, these rich guys, you can't trust them. If their mouth is moving, I've told you this, JJ, if they're over 45 and their mouth is moving, probably lying. So don't trust them.
Well, that's what I wanted to get into with this discussion is it's the drama, it's the hype, but what does it mean? When, as you said, these dudes are there, are they really going to force their way out? Because the contract will come, the guaranteed number will look good, and the guys will sign.
It just depends on your pride. I mean, some guys have a lot of pride. Le'Veon Bell, he sat out a whole year. He never got that money back.
Yeah.
But, it's just a matter of how far are you willing to take it, and how far is the club willing to take it. And that's a part of business. That's how things operate. Guys get hurt, guys get traded all the time. And so you just have to realize, I'm getting arguments about Shedeur Sanders all the time. And I'm like, the guy was a 5th-round pick, and he's driving 100 miles an hour twice. So he gets ticketed. And so, you got to realize that, hey, sometimes, things are happening for a reason, and you just have to, let it organically play out. And that's what's happening now with, I think, with Micah and all these guys that are in camp that are demanding new contracts. It's part of business, and it'll all work out.
Well, football is football. The business of football is guaranteed contracts and paying players a whole lot of money. 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line for you this morning. We come back on the other side. We've got a sweet deal on deck. This is a big one that you want to check out. And also, two-way players. Will we see more, or is it just still the elite of the elite that can do it? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
You're looking for the Jimmy and the Joes. Not always about the X's and the O's, but when you got one of those dudes, how do you fit him into the X's and the O's? The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. It's former Lobo quarterback Ned James. Bobcat holding it down at JJ Beck. A little preview of your Lobo football studio show in the house this morning on the opening drive. And, of course, Adrian making us look good. You can watch the show on ProView Network. Stream it back. Watch it whenever. And, of course, you can check out the podcast of the opening drive wherever you get your podcast. Listen back to the hours. Yesterday I had some good stuff. I had a conversation with Luke Schleichner, UNM offense coordinator, wide receiver Michael Buckley. You can check those out on the podcast. Interesting conversations. Buckley was such a good conversation, dude. I love his attitude. It's just locked in. We talked a lot about the mental aspect of it because I was like, you've had 3 head coaches in 3 years. Just how nervous are you as a guy that he's not a shoo-in to be a starter. He's got to fight his way onto the roster. And he said,
I like the whole Mexico thing, coming from Mexico and being in Mexico and seeing college football and high school all-star football. When I worked for a couple of weeks in Mexico in the mountain country in Nuevo Leon, and seeing the quality of coaching and play of college football. And most people don't even know that. Mm-hmm. The fact that he came over from Mexico.
Well, he didn't actually. Yeah, he actually didn't have that experience.
No,
he was a football fan essentially.
Yeah,
and he was watching YouTube videos, and because his dad is from Seattle, Seahawks fan by the way. Yeah, And he was 16 years old. Talking Michael Buckley, Lobo redshirt junior wide receiver from Cabo San Lucas, and he came to the U.S. at 16 and started playing football, and here he is on a Division I football team.
Yeah, just a really, like you said, I mean, you've talked to him, and I've talked to him for years since he's been here. But just a really engaging guy, young guy that we should be proud of to have him here. I mean, I just hope he has the success he's searching for. You know, these kids, you know, you see them, and they just grow on you. I mean, you like you said, you know, we've talked to Michael Buckley for years. I watched him on that scout team, you know, and that's the thing I always do. I would go down and watch the scouts because they're going against the first team defense. And, you know, you see guys that are really talented guys that are playing. Some guys have left and gone on to other programs and have done well that are New Mexico kids, you know. So it's great to see that this guy stuck it out with the program. He's, you know, he's kind of seeing he's in that rotation with those receiving group, and you know, he feels good about his chances. So that's good.
Well, there's that aspect of finding your way into the X's and the O's, and then there's one of the players I'm most excited to see this season. It's Travis Hunter, because they're going to let this kid, this rookie, play both ways. And how do you do it against NFL talent? So Liam Cohen, new Jaguars head coach, said that, you know, they're thinking of playing Travis Hunter 80% of the snaps offensive. And then that's along with being a cornerback. And is he going to be a boundary corner? Is he going to be a slot guy? Like, how many snaps is he going to get defensively? But Liam Cohen is all in on it, and he's hyping up Travis Hunter as well. As Cohen was asked, hey, do you think Hunter could win Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year? And he said, yes. You know, he is committed. Like, he is committed to driving not just himself, but his teammates as well. And I think that his teammates, these guys are challenging him every single day. Like, he doesn't get a free pass just because he's the second overall pick and he's Travis Hunter. But that's all well and good when it gets to an NFL game, NFL snaps against NFL players. Can he last going both ways?
Well, it's like, you know, Mike Tyson. Everybody can box him. Get hit in the face. You know, and they're going to have a plan for him. I mean, opposing teams are going to have a plan for him. You know, and by the way, those Heisman trophies that Travis Hunter, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. You're not in college football anymore. I remember joking with Robert Portnoy about the Denver Broncos and John Elway and McCaffrey. We had a rookie, Sean Springs, who was a first-round, third overall pick. You know, and he got in front of a microphone and a camera, and he says, hey, you know, McCaffrey played against better guys than him in practice with, you know, Joey Galloway and Terry Glenn, all those guys. I'm like playing Indiana. You know, it's like, oh. So he gets in the game, first-round draft pick, and Elway and McCaffrey are saying, hey, he's over there. He's over here. They would change the formation and
to go after him.
Yeah, so there'll be a plan for Travis, you know, if he, you're going to go both ways. Oh, okay, he's over here. He's over here. Hey, over here. And, I mean, they just toasted, you know, Sean Springs when they did that. And so they're going to have a plan for Travis Hunter when he's on defense. Now, offensively, you may not be able to do a whole lot, but when he's on defense, trust me, they're going to have a plan for that guy. But, you know, like I said, you know, he's a rookie. We'll see what happens. You know, stranger things have happened, so we'll see what happens when we get to him. Travis is unique in that I think his skill set is made for offense. That's why I think Liam said 80% on offense. The play corner, you know, Belichick did it. You know, with Troy Brown played him cover 2, played him as a cloud corner, which means that he's pressed up all the time, and you can teach that. And you can teach that. You know, you can teach a little bit of that corner play, and he had Dion there teaching him. So I think he's well equipped to play a little bit of corner. But in that league, when you get to the NFL, I mean, the boys that are running at you, these world-class sprinters that are coming at you, you know, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You're in the NFL. It's a little bit different, you know, when these guys are rolling out at you at wide receiver. And they've been fresh, and they're coming at you in waves. So
we'll see how long that Jacksonville and Travis Hunter try to stick to the plan. But I'm fascinated to see it, and we'll get into more of why I think he was absolutely worth the draft capital involved to give it the first-round pick, because you have a shot at maybe a starter on either side of the football, and I think that changes things for Travis Hunter. But now we get to change things for you. It's our sweet deal today. It goes live on our website, sportsanimalabq.com at 9 o'clock. And this one has me excited. Jerry's here to discuss it from Main Event, because there's a lot of places that like to talk a big game, right? They're like, oh, we're an entertainment center. We got this, that, the other. No, Main Event has it all. You got the good food, which I love, because a lot of places talk it up, and you're like, no, not this. The food is on point. You got all the experience. You're talking bowling, laser tag, gravity ropes, billiards, shuffleboard, and the arcade play. And our sweet deal is you get a family 4-pack to Main Event for just $175. Good morning, man. How you doing?
Great, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good. And so let's just start there, because I know, Main Event, people look at it and might be like, oh, this is going to be great for our kids. No, this is fun for everyone, because I know when I take my son, I might have more fun than he does when we go to Main Event.
I mean, we have a great bar, wonderful kitchen, over 75 TVs, and 20, like I said, even the 21 lanes, even if you are bowling, you can still sit out and watch our big monster screens that we have in front of them with all the games and everything going on as well.
Yeah, it's a great time of year, especially get out, have some fun, still be enjoying, of course, football, because that's what we're talking about right now with football season upon us. And what's great about this deal is you do get to try everything at Main Event.
Yes, I mean, with all you can play, you can touch everything from our gravity ropes, 21 lanes of bowling, laser tag, over 110, 115 games of arcade, pool, shuffleboard, and it really allows you to enjoy yourself as well as your children when you guys come in.
Yeah, and one of the things that I like too is you go to Main Event and the machines work. There's a lot of places you go to and it's like it's out of order. You guys run a first-class operation over there, and I believe you guys take pride in that.
We do. It's the guest event that's important. I mean, the guests and their experience, that's really super important to us, and it's what we strive to do. I mean, we want you to have a good time. We don't want you to think about anything else. Not a game being broke here or something going on over here. Just come in, enjoy yourself, and relax.
Yeah, it's a time to relax. I know summer, it really never is over when you have kids, even when they go back to school, but this is the perfect experience for you right now. So our website, 9 a.m., it goes live. These will go fast. You get yourself a family 4-pack to Main Event. It's a $350 value. You get it for $175 today. It includes 4 all-access wristbands, bowling, laser tag, the gravity ropes, billiards and shuffleboard, and the 1-hour time card valid for the arcade, which is, it's so much fun. So many different games. I'm a big fan of the Connect 4 basketball.
Awesome.
That's so fun. I love that aspect now.
It's amazing how many basketball games we do have in there as well, even for the kids and the adults. If you ever get an opportunity to go to the back corner, back here we have a full-size court, or not a court, but actually where you can shoot free throws as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Adults, that's the thing, the group events you guys have there, because I know the Cultural Center has used Main Event a lot, and we're tabling. We have our Welcome Back barbecue on the 21st, so you should be there to kind of promote it for the rest of the students coming in for new school orientation. But they've all been here for the orientation, but they're all coming back, and it's the first week of school, and I think we're going to be promoting Main Event group events.
And you guys do a lot of that too.
Yeah, we do tons of team building events. We have our Play Academy for the actual schools, and we're really looking on expanding on that. I have a partnership with a couple of robotics teams that we have here, and they're going to come up and kind of help our STEM and our STEAM kind of up our game a little bit.
That's awesome. Well, Main Event is the place for you, and it's our sweet deal today. Check it out. It goes live on our website at 9 a.m. this morning. Jerry, I appreciate it, man.
No,
Thanks
for
coming in. And we'll see you at Main Event. We'll be back on the other side. We're talking the two-way player. Can Travis Hunter make it? And what are his odds to win offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year? It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, Together, we'll become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services.
What he's delivered over the past 9 years and future capability. And I only came up with 7 teams in the NFL out of 32. In the AFC, I think the Jets would take that situation. The Browns with their 5 and 6 quarterback situation. Right. And I'm not even sure. I'd probably play Flacco over him, but... And then the Colts. I think the Colts, with their disastrous quarterback that they got, the young guy that still has the potential. And then in the NFC, I think the Giants would take Dak. I think the Panthers, with their 5'9" quarterback in his 4th year or 3rd or 4th year, I think they would take Dak. I think the Saints, who are going to be the worst team in the league this year, would probably take Dak. I think the Seahawks would take Dak. And maybe the Vikings, maybe. So if you throw the Vikings in, that's only 25% of the teams in the league that I believe, my contention is, they would move off their quarterback, given all the variables, and take on Dak Prescott's contract. This isn't an indictment on Dak, right? It's just a generic open question. Considering all things for your team, for the betterment of your franchise, would you take his contract? Or would you go with your current quarterback? And I'll let you guys digest that. But I appreciate what you guys do. Good content. I learn something new every day. Have a delightful day.
Here's the thing with that, too, is that number is always fluctuating. Right now, it might be 7. Next year, it could be 11. It could be 10. And anytime you take into account the contract situation with these quarterbacks, which is what you have to do, because things do change for your franchise when you invest 23, 24, 25% of your salary cap into the quarterback position. That's part of it. I do think Dak Prescott is a plus quarterback in this league. And now the postseason success, it hasn't been there. But I look at it as I will take my chance with a quarterback that I know can get my team to double-digit wins however you want to say, oh, they don't beat good teams, this or that. It's getting to the playoffs to get that opportunity. Yeah. Being successful enough to get to the postseason is the consistency you're looking for. Now, injuries have derailed the Cowboys in that regard, especially last season. So I get it. It's postseason, it's a contract, and people are frustrated with Dak Prescott. I'll still be on the plus side, but yeah, right now, because you have teams that have second-year quarterbacks. You have teams like Tennessee that, well, yeah, they're going to go with Cam Ward over Dak Prescott, and they wouldn't immediately make that move. But that number where it's 7 right now could be 12 next year.
Right.
That would want him.
And it presupposes that the quarterback is the reason why you win games. I mean, you know how I am, JJ. Offense sells tickets, defense wins games, special teams wins championships. But the issue with Dak, in my opinion, is kind of twofold. People get a little worked up about his contract. And I'm different. I thought a guy who wasn't even a top 10 quarterback won the Super Bowl last year. And so I don't even think Jalen Hurts is a top 10 guy, and he won a Super Bowl. So you don't really need that guy to be, way above everybody else in order for you to win championships. And that's the most important thing with quarterbacks.
A balance. It's
winning.
Yeah, it's what you're saying. Real quick to just kind of look at that point. Like, you take Joe Burrow over everyone but maybe 3 guys in the NFL, and were they in the playoffs last year?
I'll take Joe Burrow with Lou Anarumo as the defensive coordinator, because I think he's a really good defensive coach, and that's how I look at things differently from that standpoint. So will Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals be successful? They didn't make the playoffs last year. I mean, how are we gauging these guys, based on, history of injuries, that sort of thing? So there's a lot of, things outside of, just the overall who this guy is at quarterback that play into, who's successful. And people get caught up because, like I said, I've said this before, it's the least athletic position on the field. The worst athletes on the field.
Changing, Ned. It's
with
changing.
Kickers and punters, and they make the most money. And so it's hard. You got these stiffs that are playing quarterback. And all of a sudden, these guys are the guys that are getting to the championship game because, I believe you got to play from the pocket to win in the NFL. And so the whole Dak Prescott thing, people kind of like, people here like to beat up on the Cowboys for some reason. But, I mean, he has been successful, and he's done well at the quarterback position. And, to say that some other quarterback on another team's better than him based on the success of that team, you get comparing apples and oranges. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Yeah. Well, he's getting top 10 money. That's where people kind of, skew things. And I don't know. I mean, the whole how many teams would trade. You never know who would trade for who. But I just think the Dak Prescott and the picking on the Dallas Cowboy thing is kind of
it could be
big deal.
Dak Prescott. It could be Chad Powers. It could be Jim Bob Cooter. Whoever is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys is going to be looked at differently than anyone else. It's the star. It's Jerry Jones, and it's what have you done for me lately? And for the Cowboys, that's a whole lot of nothing in the postseason. 505-246-0610, that's Sports Animal Hotline and text line for this morning. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Fernando Lobo, athletic director for the University of New Mexico, is going to join us. Lobos have announced a couple ticket initiatives over the last couple weeks. The newest one yesterday, kids 12 and under get in free to Lobo football games this season, all the home games except New Mexico State. And the improvements that are coming with the University Stadium. We'll talk with Lobo about that coming up at 9 o'clock. When we come back on the other side, left out of the conversation, but he's in the Hall of Fame. And should we talk about this dude more when we talk about game changers, when we talk about best to play the position? It's next, right here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
Do I need a...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are one Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not
Antonio Gates, and became the first player to enter the Pro Football Hall of Fame without playing college football.
That's awesome.
Now, Antonio Gates, there's been good tight ends in history. Right? You go back to Chargers tight end. Why am I forgetting?
Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow. Into kind of the Shannon Sharp era. There's been athletes that have played the tight end position that have been explosive. But Antonio Gates was kind of that new era where we saw, the Tony Gonzalez, basketball guys, Jimmy Graham come along where you're like exceptional athletes at the position, not just on the edge blocking, but, we want you to be a threat in the passing game. And we saw that with Antonio Gates. He finished his career with 11,841 receiving yards, which right now is still good for top 35. He's 34th overall, and those numbers are going to continue to change. But it feels like Gates gets lost sometime, just in the conversation when we talk about greats at the position. But just the fact that he was able to get to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, being a college basketball player, you grinded, Ned. You were a college football player. Then you've been in the NFL and you've coached and you've seen it. How crazy is it for a guy who didn't play college football, yet he was up there going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
It's kind of like school in itself.
Yeah.
Like when you're in elementary school, you got elementary school teachers that teach elementary school. Then you got high school teachers that teach. Then you got college.
Yeah.
You got PhDs teaching now, and then you go to your whatever work business, and you become a billionaire because of this exceptional talent you have. It's the same way in sports. There's some exceptional teachers in the pros that can really, if you get around the right teacher, despite the fact you didn't play college football, you could be really talented. And I use that as an example because we had a left tackle who's a good friend of mine, James Atkins. We had him on the show. He was a defensive lineman in college. And when he got to the pros, Howard Mudd, one of the great offensive line coaches, the Indianapolis coach, I told Archie Manning once, Peyton is going to be all right in Indianapolis because Howard Mudd's the offensive line coach. And it has a lot to do with it. He took James Atkins, who was a defensive lineman in college, a guy who was on a practice squad at another place, got him off the defensive line on the practice squad of the Houston Oilers, brought him to the Seattle Seahawks, and made him a left tackle. And blocking the likes of Derek Thomas and Leslie O'Neal and some of the great pass rushers. And he got him paid. He became multimillionaire as a result of that. So there are some exceptional teachers that you can come across in the National Football League. And I think that's what happened with Antonio Gates. And so to not have played college football, the fact that they recognize, and they're doing it more and more with rugby guys in the NFL. So it could work. And so in the case of Antonio Gates, it worked out tremendously because he became a Hall of Famer.
Goat Gates, definitely have to have him in the conversation when we talk about game-changing tight ends. The Lobos are trying to change the game for youngsters when it comes to Lobo football. We'll talk with Athletics Director Fernando Lobo coming up next about the ticket initiatives that they're rolling out, also the upcoming plans for University Stadium. AD joins us next. His opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-27.
Opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
The countdown is on. We've been talking about practice, preseason camp, not just with the Lobos, but the NFL. Football season is here. But on campus, there's so much more. There's a soccer game on Thursday night, exhibition. UNM and UTEP women's soccer gets going. Their season opener is August 14th against Texas Southern. And it's an opportunity for sports fans, for Lobo fans, to enjoy what you have. And that is some fantastic Division I programs. And UNM announced last week that, hey, yeah, women's soccer, baseball, softball, which will be here before you know it as well, outdoor track and field events, it's free. They're trying to embrace the community and also show people just how good those products are. And yesterday, UNM announced a big thing for the youth, the kids, get them to the games. Growing up, going to games with my dad, I became a huge sports fan, and I wanted to go regardless of the product. Now, we'll get to that, but it's about making it something you want to do, and the Lobos are invested in making sure the community knows that, hey, that is something you should go do. JJ Buck joined by the former Lobo quarterback, the alumni, Ned James. It is the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. And with that big announcement yesterday, it's a start of so many things that UNM is doing to not just invest in athletics, but Lobo football. We're joined by the Vice President, Director of Athletics, Fernando Lobo, on the opening drive this morning. Fern, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. JJ, Ned, good to be with you this morning. Appreciate you having me on.
I know you're a very busy man right now, but first off, when you or whoever brought up this idea said free tickets, how did that land when everything is about generating revenue?
Yeah, I was listening to your lead into it, and I think that's, a lot of what my mindset was exactly, how I approached it at first is, you said you grew up going to sporting events with your father, and that's how you got hooked, and I was the same way. I was never the greatest athlete, but I tried to play sports, but sports were ingrained in my life from a young age, and so I thought to myself, I said, okay, let me get in this community, let me understand what makes it tick, and I said, why can't we, and this was in January, why can't we make kids free to our football games? And I didn't know exactly how it would look or how it would work. I said, but someone's going to have to tell me why we wouldn't be able to do that. And my team was so great. We went back and forth. And you said it, right, about generating revenue, of course. That's the name of the game. But at the end of the day, there's something to be said for getting butts in seats, right, regardless of how you're doing it. And I think the ancillary benefits of that, some of which are related to revenue, are critical, and we'll see that. And so to me, it started with a vision, an idea that was near and dear to my heart because it's how I grew up and how sports became part of my life and were ingrained, as you said, going to sporting events. So just really cool to see it start from a concept through execution yesterday.
And you discussed this community, and you've been a very busy man since you took over as AD at the University of New Mexico. But what is one of the things that you've noticed, just the feedback when you're talking with people and you're trying to get ideas about what they want from Lobo Athletics?
Yeah, I think, accessibility. Obviously, everybody, their dollars are stretched thin right now. And, individuals are having to make decisions on how they spend their discretionary hard-earned income, and costs aren't going down. And so, just there's a want-to in this community to support Lobo Athletics. And, obviously I was blessed to see it in the pit for our basketball season and then throughout our spring sports. And so, people that I've talked to just, they want it to be fun. They want it to be exciting, but it has to be affordable, and it has to be reasonable. And I understand that. And, at the University of Texas, when I was there for 8 years, we were able to do a lot of things, as I mentioned yesterday in my press conference, that I thought, why can't we scale them here? And part of that was making our product more accessible to our fans. So that was our thought.
Fernando, what a breath of fresh air you are. I mean, just the fact that you're a football guy has been exciting. I talked to a lot of my football alumni friends, and they were all fired up when they heard you were coming. They all read up on where you've been and how you've worked with football, and they're just excited about the fact that you're here now. And me being a football guy, I love it. And just having to talk to you for a little bit of time we talked about in the football fan that you are has been really exciting. But just wanted to know a little bit about the importance of what football means to the athletic department from a perspective of other athletic directors. I know you've been around a lot of different athletic directors, how they see football as being the most important part of the athletic department, because primarily football is the front porch to the athletic department to the rest of the country in college athletics, because of how big football is in the country. Football is the number one sport in this country. And, with my experience, I've been around football for 50 years, my whole life, practically, every fall. So I've experienced it in all different levels. But I just want to know from what who you've been around and your experience in football, just explain to me what these athletic directors are saying to you as far as what football means to the universities that they've been at.
Yeah, no, great question. And you're right. I've been around football my entire career, and been fortunate to be at some great places. And look, here's the reality, and there's a lot of layers to it, but I think you've seen in the last 4 years, right? All of these moves, conference-wise, everything else that has created this immense disruption in our industry has been driven by football. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's the reason. And it's because football, obviously financially in most places, is king. But the one thing I will say, and you asked about, my mentors and people that I've worked with and what their perspective is on football is that there's no doubt, it is undeniable that when football is successful in your department, no matter where you are or what scale you're talking about, it raises all the other ships, right? A rising tide raises all boats. And so for us, and to get to where we want to go to as Lobos, we need a successful and competitive football program. We do. We have no option. And we have to do that strategically. We have to do it in a smart manner. But for us to have a consistently competitive football program certainly will help us financially, but I think perception and optics-wise, even more important than the financial piece, and that's what we need. And so, the commitment to a successful football program is certainly near and dear to my heart, not just because I've come up in the profession, with football experience, but because the impact I've seen it have on all the different places that I've been, not just for this program or the department, but for the community, for the states, that we were able to be part of. And so I'm really excited. I've gotten that sense in my conversations with community members. They understand. Obviously, we've had great success here during phases. I mean, we had Brian Urlacher spoke to the team last night, and I got chills, thinking about showing a video about back when he was playing. I mean, that's what University Stadium needs to be, and I think it'll get there, and I'm excited to see it grow.
UNM Athletic Director Fernando Lobo joining us on the opening drive. And the question is there enough that you can be everything that you want to be? And basketball is phenomenal, and it holds a special place in this community, and that's not going anywhere. But there's also a sense of, well, if you do this, you can't do that. How are you approaching being able to do what you want with football and the investment that you need there, new era, revenue sharing, everything that goes with that, putting money in the University Stadium, but then also, as you said, being able to push Lobo athletics as a whole forward?
Yeah, it's a great question, and that's the thing we talk about each and every day, right? We can't have success in one program in spite of the other, right? It's got to be together. It's got to be a joint effort. We got to be rowing in the same direction. And you said it. It takes resources. It takes commitment. It takes buy-in. And so I think it starts at the top, right? I think it starts the leadership in our programs. We're talking specifically about football and basketball. Obviously, we had turnover in both of those. Bronco going to Utah State, and obviously Richard going to Xavier. But I think, and the community sees this and feels it, and I've heard it from a lot of individuals, that we've got the right leadership there. Coach Eck's done a great job. Coach Olin, hit the ground running. And so I think with the leadership there, working together, under our guidance, it certainly, not only is it possible to have success in both programs at the same time, but it's absolutely necessary to do it. And so, we're going to continue to find creative ways to ensure that we're elevating those programs. For us, our biggest revenue generators, obviously, are those two. Because, again, I go back to what I said. When those programs are successful, no matter where you are, everybody else benefits, right? Not just our programs, but our community, our state. And so, we'll have to look and be creative, but I'm confident that we've got the right plan, and we're going to continue to execute it.
Well, one thing we know for sure is you can get Coach Eck in front of a camera, and you guys can have content for days. There's no doubt about that. He definitely stole the show in that video. But when you look at the plans, right, you announced with the non-revenue sports, free tickets, get out to those events. You announced, kids 12 and under for the 5 football games that they get in. Of course, New Mexico State premium game, you got it. But in this process, I know you didn't want to reveal your cards just yet, but how many more things do you guys have that are coming out just with the University Stadium, but with the fans?
Yeah, we've got a few more tricks up our sleeve here, that initiatives that we're working on. It's been a month-long process, and I was fortunate to hire Casey Byers, who's our senior associate AD for external from the University of Washington, and his creative mind and his team's creative mind has really been helpful in telling. I say it all the time: tell our story. We're telling our story, right? And part of that is some of these initiatives, some of these, skits that we put out yesterday, which I agree with you. Coach Eck's a way better actor than I am, but we've got a few more things coming out, and I'm excited to keep this momentum building, right? It's a celebration of Lobo athletics. That's what a game day in University Stadium should be and needs to be for us. And so we're going to continue to do things along the same vein of, one, making it more affordable, making it more accessible, right? And I say it, eliminating barriers to entry, right? I want to eliminate all reasons and excuses why individuals say, yeah, you know what, maybe we shouldn't go to a Lobo football game. No, come on. We need you here, right? We want you to support. It's part of our plan, and so we've got a few more things that we're excited to roll out. So I'm looking forward to that over the next few weeks.
Well, as we wrap it up with you, man, when you look at Coach Eck knows, right? Ultimately, it's going to come down to the product, too, and keeping people invested later in games, later in the season, but just getting them through that door, it's a great step with what you got with the kids. But two, University Stadium, it is what it is, right? It's a concrete patch that's there. How much can you change around the edges, for that to be more inviting over whatever time frame you have?
Yeah, so to me, and I said it yesterday, you look at three things, right? You look at, it's a 3-step process to getting people in the stadium, right? And the third of that is obviously inside the stadium, the product on the field has to be good. But when you look at it, they got to wake up and they got to think, let's go to a Lobo football game, right? Then number 2, they got to get in their car or however and drive to University Stadium. We've got to activate things on the exterior to draw them to our stadium. And then third, we got to get them in the stadium. And as I mentioned, part of that is the success in the field. But all the things on the periphery, right, and just the overall infrastructure of University Stadium and things that we do to activate the stadium both inside and outside are all part of our plan. We've got some things in mind that we'll announce here in the next couple of weeks to create some excitement outside of the stadium to try to get individuals there. And so, as far as the infrastructure of the capital project-wise, we've got big ambitions and goals for University Stadium. To me, that just shouldn't just be a football stadium, right? That should be a community gathering place, one where we host concerts and high school football games, and people and young athletes across the state of New Mexico should be coming into University Stadium to experience that. And so I've got big goals and dreams and aspirations for University Stadium from a capital infrastructure standpoint, but as far as activating the exterior and getting people to come and getting them excited to come, we're working on that. So that'll be forthcoming here soon.
Fernando Lobo, AD, University of New Mexico. Always appreciate the time. I know you got plenty of work to get to, probably some football practice to watch. So go enjoy your day, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Go Lobos.
Yes, good talking to you.
Fernando Lobo joining us on the opening drive. And, right there, it's a process, right? It's going to take some time. It's investment. But I know you are excited, Ned, with someone that is embracing football.
Absolutely. And that's energy. That energy comes from that youthful energy that he has is just infectious. He's got to, keep that up, because I think a lot of people are excited to, when they hear him talk and they hear him, what his plans are, what his vision is. And, as with these things, there's always this succession plan. You have to, move the old out and bring in the new. And I think what he's doing with athletics is something that I think everybody should come and take a look at. I mean, basketball went well. Now we're going into the fall. Football's going to go well. Coach Eck has the enthusiasm, like you said. All you got to do is watch the video, and you'll see his enthusiasm for football. And like I said, a rising tide, raises all boats, and that's what he's looking for. That's what he's shooting for. And I love that approach, and I just love the energy. And I just think Lobo is going to be wonderful for this football program, and it's going to be wonderful for the athletic department as well.
So what are fair expectations, not just for the football team this year, but UNM athletics? What should we be looking at them as in the new era of Mountain West football, basketball, everything across the board in 2026 and the future of college athletics? We'll hit that, take your calls, and a whole lot more. It's the opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Yes, you love basketball at the University of New Mexico. Keep selling tickets to both men's and women's basketball. Absolutely. It absolutely matters. That's impactful. But the lack of success has really hurt. And so the investment in it, if you're going to do it, invest in it as much as you can. That's my thing, right? It's the ship is probably sailed for Power Conference football just because the game has changed so much. And what I mean by that is when Memphis comes to the table and says, we'll pay you $200 million to be a part of your conference. And a power conference in the Big 12 is still like, no, thank you. Like, they're not just going to go, oh, we're going to add these teams X, Y, and Z and move forward. They're going to be looking for buy-ins, this or that. So the reality of it is, yes, we have to think about conference affiliation. We have to think about media rights deals because that's the way things function. But also, if you're going to do it the best you can. And Fernando Lobo and his staff, they have that investment in Lobo Athletics. They're like, all right, we have these programs. We have football, we have basketball, we have Olympic sports. If you're going to do it to the best you can versus your peers. And I do think that's a positive direction right now for Lobo Athletics.
Yes, I like it that Fernando is getting after it. I mean, he's just, he is learning the lay of the land. I mean, it's taken him a couple months. It's going to take him a while. He's going to have to, get the lay of how Albuquerque really functions and how it works. But once he gets going, I think he's got the right attitude, the right energy, which is going to take some energy. It's going to take a lot of work. And I think he's up for the task. I think he really has a good vision. like he says, you've got to win. You got to win some games, and people will come when you win. I'm the optimist like he is. So but with football, with me, you're never gonna hear anything about it being bad. So I don't care who shows up to the game. I'm always going to be for UNM football. So
there'll always be one person there.
That's right,
Ned James.
I will be there. Come hell or high water, I'll be there.
And this season they're going to have to do work at home. It's going to be more important than I think ever for this team to be successful at home, because we were talking about that 2010 Lobo schedule. We brought it up. I had a former Lobo football player be like, "Yo, go look at that 2010 schedule," because we were talking about the difficulty of just the road schedule this season, one of the toughest road schedules. But the 2010 schedule that we're talking about, where they played Oregon, a ranked Utah team, and a ranked TCU team, well, they got to play TCU and Utah at University Stadium. Now, it was a 1-11 Mike Locksley year, so it didn't go well at all. But there you go. You had to at least at home. This year, you look at, you're hitting the road, you're playing Michigan, UCLA, San Jose State, Boise State, UNLV, and Air Force.
Yeah, and we just have to get after it. I mean, it's a whole brand new, and that should be the marketing message. It's a whole brand new time, brand new world. I mean, youth. You got to bring some energy and some youthfulness to this whole thing, because that's what we have now. And I think this youthful energy will rub off, and we'll get some wins out of it. I mean, we've got to put the skins on the wall. We've got to get some wins, and that's what's going to sell more than anything. But at the same time, I'm always going to be for Lobo football and Lobo athletics, and we're going to see how far this thing takes us right now. I mean, it's a new era with Jason Eck, and I think this football program and staff and students. I mean, they're getting ready to pour on the campus here next week. School's starting, and it's that great time in America where it's the fall, it's the cheerleaders, it's the marching bands, it's popcorn, it's that fall, it's the smell of the I guess
the autumn wind is upon us.
Autumn winds and the leaves changing and all that fun stuff. So it's really a great time to be alive and to be at a university and to be in a state like New Mexico where we're the front porch to the rest of the world. Athletics and football are the front porch. We're what everybody sees when they think of New Mexico. What about the football? What about basketball? That's how they see us as a state, and you should be proud of that. And I think we got great things to look forward to in the future.
505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. Speaking of new era, the hype is insane for this quarterback, and can he live up to the hype? Because the coaches think he will. That's next here on the Sports Animal.
Listen to 95.9 FM.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children.
Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf.
Doesn't like talking about quarterbacks. He likes defense and special teams. But it is an important position if you get it right.
That's right.
It can help you get the other things right and give you a little time and give you a little runway to get other things figured out if you get the quarterback right. But can you develop at the quarterback position in the NFL? The opening drive, JJ Buck, Ned James, Bobcat holding it down. Adrian on ProView Networks, 505-246-0610, Sports Animal Hotline and text line. And we're seeing really a new trend in NFL football. And it's what we discussed now going to college athletics. It's you don't have time. If you're a rookie and 8-9 games into the season, you're struggling, they might be ready to put you on the bench, send you packing. You don't have time. And I think that's why, it used to just be about upside. Oh, what's the ceiling? What can we get to a guy? Now it's about, no, can this guy come in and have a floor that then we can build off of? And I think last year's draft highlights that and kind of the new trend of quarterbacks that are coming in. Jaden Daniels played 5 years of college football. Bo Nix played like 60 college football games in his career. Wow. Caleb Williams played a lot of football. Yeah. Drake May. Michael Penix played at 2 different universities. And so we're seeing that, you can have upside as an older quarterback coming, and you're also playing a lot longer. And, we're talking guys playing 37, 38, 39 years old. But it's that experience plus an opportunity to grow that we're trending in the direction with these quarterbacks. And we were just discussing in the break, and it's one that we've been talking about a lot this offseason because it was a high pick, a top 5 pick in Anthony Richardson. Yeah. And what the Colts are going to do, because Anthony Richardson, he's athletic. He's got a cannon. He can run around. But he didn't play a lot of football coming in. And in this era, the way the game is played, the fact that NFL, it stands for not for long, can you take a guy like that in the first round anymore? Like, how do you develop at the NFL level when you just haven't played a lot of games? With like Anthony Richardson case in point right now.
Right. You have to have in your vision as the head coach or the head of the organization, GM or owner or whatever, because they're all supposed to be on the same page. It's going to take some time with a quarterback in the development. Whether he played a lot of college games or not, it's still going to take some time to develop him. With all that being said, okay, and you're saying it's not for long league, and a lot of times it's not. When the head guy is an offensive guy and he chooses that guy, you can't bench that guy in the middle of a season when you don't think he's playing well. You've decided, and then you decide to start him. you can't just bench him because he's playing bad. You have to say, hey, I'm staying with this guy. Well, the Colts kind of maybe showed their hand by saying that they really don't like this guy by benching him. Now they're bringing in, and they won't even list him as a starter. They list him as
co-starters right now.
Yeah. And
Richardson and Daniel Jones.
It's really kind of ridiculous because players take time to develop. I mean, everybody's on this Caleb Williams. It takes time for these young guys to develop as quarterbacks, and particularly guys who are been successful. And the trend in having these athletic quarterbacks. Now, the head coach from the Colts came from Philadelphia, so he wants a Jalen Hurts type quarterback. He wants a guy who doesn't necessarily have to be a great passer, but is athletic, can take hits, can run, and is durable. And that's what I think they saw when they drafted. I'm trying to think of this kid's name. I just lost his name.
Richardson.
Yeah. Richardson. God, I can't.
It's all right.
But no, when they drafted Richardson, they saw Jalen Hurts, and they thought they were getting Jalen Hurts. But Jalen Hurts played a lot of games. Jalen Hurts, got brought along a little slower than maybe this guy did, but he produced, and so it's going to take some time.
Okay, dude, you just blew my mind. I don't know why we never made that connection. Because I've been using Josh Allen as like the archetype for Anthony Richardson.
I'm gonna tell you.
But where did Shane Steichen come from? Philadelphia. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why he wanted Jalen Hurts. He wanted this Jalen Hurts type quarterback, and Richardson came out as this big, athletic, doing cartwheels, AAU, type athlete that didn't play very many games. And I talked to Javon Curse, who's a Florida guy, who thought that he's not going to make it. And he's like, he hasn't played enough games. He's not ready for the NFL. But it takes development, and you have to have a plan when you have a young guy like that. A lot of times you want to have a veteran guy who starts, and so the guy can watch and see how the game plays out, and then come along. They threw him right into the fire. He hadn't played very many games. The game is fast. Mentally, I thought he was really kind of damaged early on. You don't want to get guys hit. Like I told you about Howard Mudd and Peyton Manning, you don't want to hit these young guys.
He got hit. He got hurt.
Right.
Then,
and now he's kind of shook. Now, it's hard to bring guys back from that. It's almost like you're shell-shocked in a lot of ways. And so, but you're kind of stuck with it. I mean, they failed him by taking him out, and then now you lose him a little bit. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I really like the defensive coordinator. You know how I am about defensive guys. The Vic Fangio thing. I told people about Vic Fangio 100 times. And now I like this Lou Anarumo. That's I think that's how you say his last name, Anarumo. That's the defensive coordinator that was with the Cincinnati Bengals that went to Indianapolis. So I kind of like Indianapolis, but the quarterback thing is kind of wonky. I mean, I think they're going to play both of them. All seriousness, because I think the head coach is a little bit over his skis a little bit. I think he knows what he wants out of that quarterback position. It's just going to take him some time with Richardson because he hasn't played as many games, and the learning curve is probably a little bit greater than a lot of us expected, and that's why he's struggling a little bit.
Is it one where does he have to be the starter? Like you just discussed it, what you invested in him, or can Daniel Jones start for a few games and you bring Anthony Richardson in, or do you just have to play him at this point and get him those reps?
God, that's a tough question because, you want to say, yeah, he needs to watch it a little bit. But at the same time, you don't want to shatter his confidence and you don't want to lose him mentally. And I think that's what's going to be more important down the road. So, I think you almost have to play him and just let him kind of ride this thing out. It's going to be tough because Daniel Jones is so experienced, and you want that experience in there. But yet, Shane Steichen came from Philly. They want these athletic RPO guys.
It just never clicked.
These certain coaches want that style of play.
Yeah, and the Hurts is such a phenomenal comparison for Anthony Richardson because what they want to do is, they have playmakers down the field. Jalen Hurts, good deep ball thrower.
Right.
You can make those big time plays, but it was, hey, we'll use his strength, his athleticism in short areas, run the football,
Jalen
and then you can
not
see
a particularly great passer, but a good deep ball, and he can do the little dink and dunk stuff. So
and it makes sense. Where did Steichen come from? Philadelphia. But I always was thinking, they wanted their ceiling to be Josh Allen, which is, slinging it around everywhere, going around.
In my opinion, is a poor man's John Elway.
And that's pretty good.
He really is a really good big, because he's 6'5", he's built more like him, and he's a natural thrower. I like Josh Allen's throw. He's not accurate, not as accurate as that way. And his system,
he's gotten more
Josh
accurate.
Allen's issue has been that the system that he's been in, they got him running too much. You can't see what happened to Elway after he ran a lot. You can't. You got to play that guy from the pocket. He's got to be a better dealer from the pocket, which I think hurts him. But we're seeing these athletic guys win, so I mean, you know, he may be close to getting one. I don't know.
A lot of pressure on these guys. Top tier quarterbacks. Great breakdown right there from our quarterback, Ned James. There's a guy that's played just a little bit, but he already has the #1 associated with him. And can he live up to the hype? Hit that next. The opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Adventure is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of Celebrity Green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Roswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
These days, it's important to know people in
Drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the sports animal. Got our quarterback in that jam. Bobcat holding it down, Adrian on ProView Networks. JJ Buck with you. A coaches poll came out because the coaches care, right? Not really, but it's a peek at preseason expectations. I'm not a fan of preseason polls because I want the eye test. I want to see teams for a few weeks and then judge where they fall, but that's feeding the beast. It's preseason polls for conferences. It's preseason polls for top 25. And here we are. But Texas, the number one team in the preseason coaches poll. But I think it's fascinating is the hype that is surrounding Arch Manning. One, it's got the last name. And we've seen the Manning family in football be very successful in the SEC and then in the NFL. I think the makeup is fantastic. You know, listening to this kid talk at media days, and he was acknowledging, he's like, I've done nothing to earn this hype, but I've got to be able to handle it and get back on the field. And we've had hyped quarterbacks over the last few years, right? You know, you go back, Andrew Luck or Trevor Lawrence, you know, Caleb Williams for a bit was like, oh, this guy in 2 years is going to be the number one overall pick. But we have this hype with Arch Manning, and he has not even been a starter for a full season. You know, he's come in and played some games when Ewers is out, looked pretty good. But this is fascinating to me because people are viewing him as a no-doubt prospect. I love his makeup, and I think he stays for 2 years at Texas. I don't think it's a given, as everyone is pointing, oh, he's going to be the number one pick next year, because I just look at his makeup and the fact that he sat there and waited his time at Texas. I don't think he's actually going to cash out after 1 year. But whatever happens after that, what have you thought about just the hype train surrounding Arch Manning, the expectations, you know, college football championship?
It's really unfortunate with a young player like him to have that kind of pressure put on him, but he's getting paid too much money to not be able
That's
to
the thing now, Ned. They're getting paid.
You gotta, when you're making that kind of cheese, it comes with that territory. You got to be able to handle it, and he's got to fulfill those expectations now with what he's getting paid, and as far as the talent that he's surrounded by, it should be sufficient enough. Even though the offensive line is somewhat suspect, he's going to have to make it work. He's going to have to walk on water. He's going to have to be that guy in the Heisman contention. He's got to win the games he's supposed to win. Now, the first game of the season will be a tough one, be a tough test, but they should, win this game. And if they don't,
Texas, Ohio State.
Yes. And if they don't,
August 30th is a great day.
Yes, it is.
Not just Louisville football at Michigan, but it is a jam-packed slate of college football games.
It'll be fun. But Arch Manning, being around the grandfather, the uncle Peyton, and now to see him, I mean, it's just amazing, this family. But the hype, being at Texas, he is going to be under a lot of pressure, tremendous, and then playing in the SEC. It's going to be a lot of pressure, but we'll see. The playing field is level now. It's more level in college football than it's ever been, in my opinion. And everybody has an opportunity to be successful because of the pay for play. You can call it whatever you want to call it. The poaching, all that's legal stuff that you can do now, which is unrestricted free agency. You got to get out. You got to beat the bushes. You got to be able to put a team on that field that's going to be competitive at your level. No one's killing it at any level with NIL money. So you got to be able to compete. And I think most teams will compete this year. And I think it's going to be tough for Archman. I really do. Because I think the playing field is pretty level. And you're going to see some unexpected things happen this season.
By the way, 0 week, Saturday, August 23rd.
Oh, so we're playing week 1.
Not us, but college football. Saturday, August 23rd is your first college football game.
Wow. That's right.
Let's go. Go. And then, of course, your full slate, is Saturday, August 30th, but there'll be no games, Thursday, Friday. But going in to 30th, you get Texas at Ohio State. I love that because one thing, and we were discussing this yesterday, just in a different kind of basketball rant, is, with the Big Ten and the SEC going back and forth complaining about the college football playoff and, you play 9 conference games, we play 8, you need to play tougher games. Like, play true road games. Like, that's what can separate college athletics from everything else, is a road environment. I get you want to have these showcase games, right? We're playing the Kickoff Classic in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're playing at Allegiant Stadium. But true road games matter in college athletics, and schools across the board are scared of that.
Yeah, Lute Olson, University of Arizona.
Yeah, they won't come play
number 1 in the nation. Will never come play in the pit again because you're playing at altitude. You're ranked number 1, and you get bounced. Everybody's afraid of that. The hype train that comes with your team, and you got to go play somebody on their turf, and all of a sudden now the tables turn. Especially nowadays with, as far as, but everything goes in cycles. Yeah. I mean, coaches are now going to stay longer because teams can't afford to get rid of coaches because players are jumping. So now, it's just everything goes in these cycles. And so we'll see, these coaches, really have to, stay around with average records. So it'll be interesting to see.
But I'm excited because you also got LSU at Clemson in Memorial Stadium, Clemson, South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
True road game. And what's the
SO Club?
SO Club.
Yes.
We need to get out there sometime.
Alumni, yeah.
We got to figure that out.
Yes, we got to figure it out.
Hey, call Clemson. Let's get them on the schedule again.
Charles loved us having it out there. He loved having the Lobos out in Clemson.
Yeah, and, of course, Monday, September 1st. You ready? TCU at North Carolina.
Oh.
Your boy, Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
In college football.
Now,
the world is perfect for him, right?
Yes, it is.
No rules. Let's go.
No rules. And hiring a GM of all things. I mean, that's just
Michael Lombardi.
Man, I was.
By the way, who's scheduled to join us tomorrow on the opening drive at 8:30. The general manager for North Carolina football, but also, he's promoting the book that he wrote, which we've actually talked with him last year about it. But when football season comes around, you hype it back up. But
he went to Hofstra, so I got interviewed for a job at Hofstra by the
really?
late great Joe Gardy, which is his coach. And it was funny because I was from California and he didn't like Californians. And he told me straight up, like, we don't take naps out here. I'm like, what does that mean? Like these Jersey guys.
All these West Coast stereotypes.
Yes, it is. It really is.
There ain't nothing but rocks out there and hippies with long hair. Like, you got to battle that. But Michael Lombardi, his book, Football Done Right, is out, just talking about some of his favorite players, what he's done in the game as an executive. And now, of course, get to talk to him about living in the wild, wild west of college athletics. With Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels. But he's scheduled to join us tomorrow at 8:30, Michael Lombardi. And it's going to be fun to watch that storyline in college football as the countdown is here. Yes. And you'll be watching more practice. We'll be getting ready for the season. 4:30.
Wink Martindale on defense for Michigan.
NFL Wink Martindale. Got a lot to break down with that one game. But 4:30, Saturday, August 30th, News Radio KKOB, UNM Sports Radio Network. Bobcat producing. Robin Dontrell in Ann Arbor. Us stuck back here in the studio, but we're stoked for football. And we'll have the best breakdown that you can have.
And we'll try not to eat too many wings.
Yeah, we got to start discussing our menu for week one, Bob. Just let us know what you're interested in.
I always pick week one. I'll bring the food for week one.
and then brings the food, and we got you locked down. But super excited about that. And, of course, the season. Talked with Fernando Lobo earlier. If you missed it, it'll be up wherever you get your podcast following the show about the introduction of kids 12 and under free for Lobo football this season, excluding the New Mexico State game, so premium game. But, that is a day where it does feel like college football around here when it's New Mexico State.
Yes. And I got to talk to Lobo, man. We may have to let kids in for the New Mexico State game.
You can get in, but you got to pay for it.
Well,
you still need to generate some revenue now.
Yeah. Let's bring the little kids in. We're playing our little brothers. We should let the little kids play.
By the way, we'll get to camp's going for Tony Sanchez and the Aggies that are now watching all the former Aggies at Vanderbilt. Ned, thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Always appreciate it. Bob, thanks for getting up, pushing the button.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
I was here last night, too.
For staying awake and all the work you do in the afternoon with the Isotopes. Adrian on ProView, appreciate you as well, my guy. Colin Cowherd is next. Jim Rome follows that. 2 minutes on at 4. Topes. Baseball tonight continues. Everybody, Metal World Peace and Love back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green synthetic putting greens and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744.
Across the state of New Mexico, different journeys will begin. And when their journeys unite, together will become one experience. Our campuses across New Mexico in Portales, Boswell, and Ruidoso come together to provide you the support as one family. We are one family that share one goal, one opportunity at a time. We are One Eastern.
We've been trained, conditioned, and rewarded for doing more. But people weren't designed for all that doing. Our bodies need to settle into nothing from time to time. Into nothing at all. In a world obsessed with doing more, we invite you to undo.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.